So we gonna talk about it. Now, I deal in building maintenance and I did something a while back. Rookie mistake. And it caused some damage. Now, the one thing about, dealing with building maintenance and fixing shit in general, diagnosing things in general, you will make mistakes, especially early on when you don't have experience like I did. I knew nothing about electrical, plumbing, or HVAC. Whenever I started, I was apprenticed under somebody. He was actually a master carpenter who could build a house from scratch by his damn self. But so right now I'm gonna be talking about strictly electrical, 120 volts, running through a line, giving power, or 277, in which the case I'm gonna be talking about today, I was working on a 277 circuit that I would say probably housed about 25 light fixtures, I would say. Just a random guesstimate. So 25 light fixtures, all in series of one circuit, meaning these 25 lights, if I turn the breaker off, these 25 lights will turn off. So, as you know, it's 2020, I think, 2 at this time, 2023 at this time. No, it had to be. It had to be more than that. It was probably like 29, 2020 or something. I don't know. But we were taking this whole breaker and we were making all of these fixtures, light fixtures, 2x2 light fixtures, 2 feet by 2 feet light fixtures on a long hallway, and it even wrapped around and went to the back. And we were converting them from fluorescent to LED. Now, doing that, you have to rewire some things. The fluorescents, they have a ballast, and which is like a driver for the sockets that the lamp sticks in. So we're taking them out, popping them in, putting in junction boxes, doing everything that we needed to do. And I got to a certain point in doing this, I had a little interruption, but in doing this, I made a mistake and I didn't do a simple pull test. When you got wires and you got a wire nut and you're tightening it, after you tighten it, the most rudimentary school of thought of electricians, after you do something, test it. I didn't do that, right? So we're on the end of the circuit now. We've been banging it out, testing about every four um, fixtures. After we do about three or four, we'll go turn the breaker on, make sure the new LED light works. I was doing this, I got a little cocky, I ain't gonna lie. Got a little cocky, and I got a video that I seen, and it just made me laugh because if I would have did the simple pull test, because you put the wires, whatever wires you need, it could be two, three, four, in the wire nut. You twist it and you pull on each wire after you make that connection. We're dealing with 277 in this building. Uh, when it comes to 277, it's basically what is used for these long circuits because the range of the electrical current runs at a lower amperage if if I'm thinking of it right. Now, there might be an electrician out there to say, well, this is specifically what that means. And please do that. I love to learn. But from what I know, it runs at a lower amperage on 277 than 120 whenever you're running for distance. And that's what we're doing. So I get to the end of the circuit and I did I stopped doing my pull test. How I knew to do. I was taught to do a pull test after I tighten each wire nut, even if it's a ground wire nut, even if it's a neutral and it's not the power. Do this pull test. So didn't do it. Cut the lights on, and the whole circuit is just flashing after a certain point. It's just the circuit is flashing. These lights coming on and off. It looking like a dance floor out there. I cut it off like boom, shit. So I had to go through each one and check everything. When I say each one, I knew it was good to a certain point. So I started from the point where I knew it was good, checked all of my junction boxes and all of my connections, and I got to this one connection. And it was one that I did not do a pull test on. And yes, I took the wire nut, pulled the neutral right out. So this circuit was live when I cut the breaker on to test it. This circuit was a live circuit. Live with power, but not the neutral from this point in the series moving forward. So what that means is every light fixture that I did after that did not have a neutral to go with the power, because the power comes from the breaker box, goes back to the neutral to the breaker box. It's a current. It goes like this. And if it doesn't have that neutral coming back to that breaker box, you can do some damage. And yes, I did some damage. And I think it was 6 light fixtures that no longer worked because of my mistake. Each light fixture, I think, cost around $25. It's probably 5. So $25 times 6 was trash. Whatever that money was that the company spent, that was trash. But that's one of them things. Whenever you learn it, you gon' find these things out. People who don't make mistakes, or no, that's not it. People who don't make decisions don't make mistakes. That just comes with it. So I want to watch this video real quick. And he's gonna basically explain it. And when I seen this video, I was like, I'm gonna make a video because I like this video. It was good information.
People forget to do a pull test. So if I pull, I can already see that the wire's coming out, and I had a very weak connection. Now the wire nut's still connected on, but that's because it was biting into the solid. And then the stranded was just getting wrapped around the solid core, but really with a very loose connection. This is a classic failure point and something that can be avoided with a simple technique. Then the correct approach is pretty simple, and this is going to ensure you get a nice strong connection between the stranded and solid. So the wire nut actually just bit onto the top part of the solid, and the stranded just got wound loosely around the solid core. That is not what you want. You want to actually do the opposite. You want to lead with the stranded. Often when you have solid core wire, many professionals will pre-twist. They'll pre-twist the wires together prior to putting the wire nut on. Even though the wire nut manufacturers usually call out to not pre-twist and to let the wire nut or a wing nut like this do the work. All right, so now once we have that fully on, we can look down inside. You can see the stranded is much higher up and is biting into that wire nut. So that same pull test is not going to pull the wire out like it did last.
And that's basically why what happened to me. Because I did not do that pull test, and I did not lead with the stranded. When he talks about stranded, current can run through a solid or stranded wire. I mean, stranded means it's a bunch of little wires that make up the one wire. So I didn't lead with the stranded. You put the stranded in a little bit higher than the solid, and when you start twisting, that stranded will weave around the solid because the solid is ultimately more stronger. It got more oomph to it. So anyway, I just wanted to come up here and talk real quick. I'm just here to make a video. I'm out, man. YJ.